Okay, welcome to Verbal Laxative.
Yeah, verbal
Once again,
laxative.
I'm
Verbal
Jason.
Simpson.
And I'm Hassan.
And this is your weekly laxative.
Yeah, so get things flowing.
Now, I know we usually just bullshit all the time and talk about stuff that doesn't really matter, but I felt like just with this week, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade.
I also, sorry to cut you off there, but also the first Bond girl died too.
Oh,
just recently.
shit.
She was
Oh my
90 though, so I think it was
Yeah, that was
more
probably
natural.
This is,
natural.
I can't handle this week. Oh my god. Anthony Bourdain, he died this week, and I don't know. It seems to have affected like a lot of people too. And I remember, at least for me, back then, while I was living the bachelor life, I would watch No Reservations, and that was like you make dinner and then you just watch that, and then that's a good evening already, right? And it was just rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain.
It was pretty sad to hear.
Yeah, I remember I watched one of his trips to Japan.
Yeah.
And then he went to I showed him what he did. One of the main things that really stuck out to me, because this was before I went to Japan, was he went to the, what is it called? The robot show thing, if you remember that. It's basically like a huge show, and you're really close to it. It's showing it's like a light show mixed with robotics and just messed up stuff. And yeah, it was like, he basically said something along the lines of, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I like it. And yeah, I actually went to that show, and that sums it up pretty well.
He was a good storyteller.
He definitely was.
Yeah.
He was probably one of the best. I mean, you can't imagine anybody else with just like a not really like a food centered show, but he just goes around tasting food, but also he tells a great story about each of these places.
Yeah, and he actually is willing to try all the different foods and everything, the cultures.
Yeah. And he's not snobby about anything either. He goes and he eats. And then I remember an interview he did a while back, or even when he received some award, he's like, I just ask really simple questions to people. I know, I just ask what do you like to eat? Basically it just goes on from there.
Because he was a down-to-earth guy. It's not like he was larger than life like other celebrities.
No, yeah. He always shat on the other especially food celebrities. He'd be like, they're not a chef. I'm not a chef. You're not a chef. Like nobody, none of you are chefs.
We're just people. Everybody, he was. It was sad to hear that. I didn't think he would be one of the guys to take his own life.
No,
but
right?
I guess you can't know what people are thinking.
No,
What's going on in their lives, but he was the last person I thought. Anything you watch him in Parts Unknown or any known reservations, he's just he never seemed to be going through things. He always seemed to be
and he basically had I'd say a dream job for a lot of people out there. All you travel and eat, and experience stuff. And then it just came out of the blue for a lot of people. I know it came out of the blue for me as well, right?
Yeah, when we were talking about when it actually happened, I was saying he has one of the dream jobs that I actually want. Yeah. Because travel the world. Even though a lot of people wouldn't like it because you have most of your year is travel and doing the show and everything. But I think it'd be fun for a few years or so. But I guess it'd be tough on him especially he has family and stuff. So I don't know if that plays a factor into it. But every time you see him on air, he seems like a good guy.
He's having a good time.
Yeah. So. Can't say for sure what happened there, but
anyway, rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, rest in peace. You'll be missed.
And Kate Spade, also both. I don't know if we mentioned were suicide. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And she passed away just earlier than Anthony Bourdain.
Tuesday, I think it was Kate Spade.
Yeah, which. Yeah, I don't know what she's been up to. I don't know much about her life, really.
Yeah, no. It is sad. People shouldn't these people more or less. They're successful people, and yet with all the success, they still are, I guess, depressed or something. That they just feel I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, depression's one of those things that, it's what they say, money can't buy you happiness. So, yeah, no, if you or anyone else, anyone listening needs that kind of help, you should definitely seek one of those helplines or a therapist. No joke though, but
No,
you know,
it's a serious
I never
matter.
thought this early into our podcast we'd have to say, people, if you are suffering from suicide, please get help. I thought this would be later on in our episodes.
You should clarify suicidal thoughts, not suffering from suicide. 'Cause
Suicide.
if you are, it's kind of too late.
If you no, I am gonna miss Anthony Bourdain, and I was reading like some of these posts from guys paying him tribute, and these are people that like met him in real life too, and they're like, oh my god, like he's the one that like put all the cooks on the map. And that's how, the way they say it is like, before he came out with his book Kitchen Confidential, where he talked about basically like what cooks do, like the day in the life of a cook, for all the partying, the drugs, and whatever. He was like, yeah, no one gave a shit about like cooks. Chefs, yeah, everybody knew that chefs are famous or renowned, but like no one gave a shit about the average cook. Oh, that's the dog again, special guest dog. Just whining right here. But then he said after that book, then that's when cooks started to be, like,
got recognition.
Yeah, got recognized. They started to be like, you realize like, hey, he's one of us, and if he can make it, like it gives all the other cooks hope, right? And he would say shit that all the cooks, they always thought about, like, they like celebrity chefs or food critics. He would shit on all of them, and he would like take like one of those high cultured fine dining foods. He always bring it down a notch, right? Like, that's like all kinds of food, the good food, like no matter if it's like expensive fine dining food where it's just like your run of the mill like working man's food, like all this is good. And then it just brought like the basic people to a level where like you I guess you could be just like proud of where you are in your life, right, in your station.
And even like the struggles, like before that book he was like
unknown.
Before Kitchen Confidential, he was unknown. He was just
he said he was barely making rent. He owed all the IRS like so much back taxes. He couldn't pay down his credit card, and then after Kitchen Confidential, he got money, and he's like, okay, it was the first time that I could pay my rent, pay my credit card, pay my taxes all at the same time. And he kind of never doesn't really change his outlook in life. He was 40 by that time.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes him such a good guy, though.
He's down to earth.
Yeah, kept him grounded, just like humble beginnings kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is like sad news.
And he stayed humble too, right? The fame didn't get to him.
He stayed the same.
Once money started coming in or anything, it didn't change him. He stayed who he was. It wasn't like like money's in, so I'm gonna become a.
No, yeah. Yeah, all these shows that you see him, he acts like himself. He doesn't have to put on a show of anything. He's just him going around talking, shooting the shit and eating.
Yeah, if anything, the money just gave him the opportunity to do these things
to do more.
I'm sure he wanted to do, and it didn't really change him as a person overall.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he'll be missed. This one cut pretty deep.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that if I was the type of person that bought a lot of designer bags, Kate Spade's unfortunate passing would also cut me deep.
Yeah, I mean, they also design like phone cases and stuff, so if you use that,
regardless if you know the person or not, suicide
it's always
it's a sad.
Yeah. Anyways, on more happy news, anybody's got anything?
Oh, I thought you actually had something that's happy news.
Okay, sure.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, it's not really happy news. This is not suicide news. All right, so I know this is like a running theme almost, because I talk about the happenings of North Korea and stuff, and there's about to be a big summit between North Korea and America for the first time in like probably since the end of the Korean War, and they're both gonna be meeting in Singapore. And I just found this one headline pretty funny. Dennis Rodman may be in Singapore for the summit. And that's not as strange as it sounds.
Of course not. He's like the good middle ground since he's always been hanging out with Kim Jong. And
he has become the mediator.
Which who would have thought? But I wonder how they even became friends or whatever.
Yeah, so a little background on the story. Kim Jong-un, I think he's a fan of basketball, of the NBA. Dennis Rodman, I think, accepted some kind of invitation to go to North Korea and basically hang out with Kim Jong-un. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he did end up in North Korea. He ended up hanging out with Kim Jong-un. They became buddies. This was like a couple of years ago, right? And then every so often, Dennis Rodman would go back and like talk with Kim Jong-un, hang out, and he would like kind of like defend him out in public when he thought he was, unfairly being smeared or whatever. Dennis Rodman kind of became the unofficial spokesperson / like buddy, I got your back for Kim Jong-un. It was a really weird kind of thing. And now it's just kind of funny because he is actually in quite... if he actually goes, it's quite an important role if he's going to mediate between everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So he like just happened upon this job. He's not getting paid for this, right? I don't think he would be.
Well, can you imagine? It's like one of those really shitty quotes. It's like, like everybody is destined for something in life. And it turns out this is what Dennis Rodman was destined for.
He's not playing basketball.
His entire career in the NBA led to this moment.
Does he still have the messed up like colorful hair and stuff?
He probably does. It's probably not as flamboyant as before.
Well, he's wearing a ball cap in this photo.
No, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's toned that down, but yeah, he was a flamboyant figure, right? And now he's a very, very important mediator. Apparently, I don't know how you feel if you think Dennis Rodman is is one of the keys to holding this thing together.
I don't know how to feel about it, but
I wouldn't think they'd give him much input in matters.
It wouldn't be like who would give him input though?
Yeah, that's the thing. He might just be able to sit in on it, but I don't think he'd actually have any say in anything.
Well, the thing is, Kim Jong-un might want to talk to him about stuff.
Yeah, and they can't stop him from doing that.
Yeah, the entire American delegation that's going to go meet Kim Jong-un, they might just give him a cold shoulder. Like, Kim Jong-un might be like, you know what? I want to talk to Dennis Rodman. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, sidebar with Dennis Rodman.
But this trip was kind of interesting too, because I was reading on like just the news and the articles they were writing about how he was even gonna get there, right? And there's such a high threat of Kim Jong-un getting assassinated, and then they were saying like, oh, how's he gonna, like what was his route gonna look like, and how's he gonna get there, and and that's a legit question because just especially on how he's going to get there, because his dad was apparently so afraid of flying he would never fly, right? He would try to go to places by train.
Wait, but that doesn't mean he can't fly.
But then it more or less became sort of kind of like a North Korean thing, like just from
fly?
Well, yeah, from Kim Jong-il, it was like, oh, he doesn't fly, and they said mostly it's because of security concerns, and also they don't have like a presidential jet that was as on par as Air Force One or some of these other richer jets, right? Or with security, so they always said, oh, they're probably too paranoid to fly. And then with Kim Jong-un, he's like, okay, I'm gonna fly over there. You gotta fly to Singapore. There's no train that connects North Korea to Singapore, right? And then I read the interesting part was he actually took an Air China plane all the way down there, and then everybody was so like they took safety as like the number one priority, and then he flew in an Air China plane over Chinese territory, basically all the way down there. Like never went close to the Pacific on the east coast of Asia from North Korea down to Singapore, right? All through Chinese territory. And then there was also some news gossip that maybe Chinese fighter jets would escort him all the way to Singapore. And then, I don't think you've ever heard of anything like this previously, especially with North Korea. I mean, this is, if you ever think about like all those movies where, you know, like the head of state, there's an assassination attempt on the head of state, and they got like, you know, so much out of control security. This is kind of looking like that.
I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have his own private jet kind of thing.
He does, but the thing about that private jet is, well, one, it's not too luxurious, right?
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's like an old Soviet era like airliner.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then it doesn't have all the security measures too. And what I mean is presidential jets, like the American Air Force One, right? And like I guess whatever plane Putin flies in and the Chinese president's plane, they're not just normal like airliners. They got defensive countermeasures. They got stuff to like in the event if something's gonna try to shoot them down, they have like chaff or flare or whatever to try to like dodge missiles or something like that, right? They also have like just a lot of things built in to basically for protecting against something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think the North Korean plane had.
Yeah, that's not likely that they would have that kind of security measures on his plane if it's that old, like you're saying, a Soviet era.
Yeah, it was like Soviet illusion, whatever, like Soviet era, you know, back then. And I don't think they spent much money keeping up any sort of like a good plane fleet, because like I said, his father Kim Jong-il did not fly.
Yeah, but you think that after all the, you know, stuff they've gone through, that he'd actually have a plane of his own or something. They were making missiles and crap. They couldn't make a plane.
That's because they spent all the shit they had on making missiles.
Use one of them and make a plane.
You think he has cash to spend around? He basically invested everything into missiles and nukes.
He can't divert just a small fraction of that towards a plane?
No.
Okay, fine.
Apparently not.
I don't know his finances.
No. And you know, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to see what's going to be like if when Trump and this guy Kim Jong-un they sit down and they talk to each other. I wish there was like a live recording of what they were talking about. You know, Trump was like, "Rocket Man," and then Kim Jong-un was like, "Oh, orange Cheeto." So we're gonna make a deal. We're gonna make the best deal. And then Kim Jong-un was like, "Yeah, fuck you." What do you think this is?
I hope they actually call each other that.
Yeah, I heard you called me short. You piece of shit.
And Dennis Rodman mediates this.
Yeah, he's in. Guys.
Settle down. It's fine.
Everybody's got like.
Let's get down to business.
Their hands on like the nuke button. Dennis Rodman saves the world. All 7 billion people rely on this one man to keep everything sane and alive.
Hey, it could be. He could be that important. Who knows?
This is bizarro world we live in. This is a timeline where Dennis Rodman mediates between North Korea and America.
Well, in a timeline where Trump is president of America, I don't see this as too far outlandish that Dennis Rodman mediates between the U.S. and North Korea.
I told you, man. I told you Trump presidency would be entertaining. This is entertaining as hell.
He's still making the news like every single day.
Oh, fuck, every day.
In the papers, every day there's something on him or something about him.
Jeez, yeah, no, they put on nothing else but him.
And if there's nothing about him, he'll make sure there's something about him by tweeting something random or stupid.
Yeah, people still bring up the Kofefe thing.
Yeah, just like a typo becomes like a big meme. That's gotta be pretty exhausting if you think about it. Fuck. If people were on to me about everything I wrote down or posted, fuck, man, I would probably get in even more trouble. But yeah, this will be probably a big thing because North Korea is one of those last countries where it's like it's still part of like that Cold War thing, right? Like this is the last country where they're really closed off, right? After this, if this goes well and they, let's say, open up one day, man, you could just see like freaking North Koreans traveling around the world. You might have North Korean friends. You know, you might be able to shitpost with them online after this. You can see what North Korean ship posting looks like.
But how would it work for their trading if it does open up? Because I don't think they have many things to export. I don't know what they're...
They have a lot of mineral wealth, apparently.
Okay.
North Korea has a lot more mineral wealth in the south. They have a lot of, I guess, some valuable ores and shit they can ship out. But that's just like raw whatever minerals, right? They don't... It's not... If you're gonna be rich, you're not gonna be exporting minerals and shit too much, right? Like South Korea became rich by exporting manufactured finished goods. So I don't know, but anything is better than nothing.
Well, I mean, like, because I'm sure a lot of nations will be more helpful in the way that, like, okay, we'll just give you some more stuff to get started up and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't see the States or Trump specifically being as
generous. They're probably not going to do shit. The big one that gave them a kind of a guarantee for opening up was China. Before Kim Jong-un even like opened up or said anything to the news media or met with even South Korea, he went to China first. It was like a... And I remember I was in Korea. I was in South Korea, not North Korea at the time. Not Best Korea, yeah. I was in Korea at the time. They were running news like 24/7 about like Kim Jong-un. He went to China to talk with the Chinese president Xi Jinping, right? And this was like a secret trip. No one knew about it before until he got there, and this was a surprise to everybody. And all the South Korean like pundits are like, "Oh, what's going on?" And all this is probably what's going on. Blah 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 blah. So my guess is, once he had the missiles and the nukes ready, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna start negotiating now." He went to China and said, "Hey, I'm gonna stop causing you headaches by testing nukes. From testing nukes, and in return, can you like basically be my bank and help me?" Do this part, and also, you know, kind of flex your muscle and show that you have my back in the face of Trump. And then Xi Jinping was probably like, yeah, fuck yeah, sure, let's do it.
That's actually a smart thing to do.
Yeah. So, and it could be big if they actually join the world again. No one in this world has seen a North Korea that has joined the world. You know, at least joined this new globalized, I guess, whatever world, the internet age, you know. And also that means South Korea won't be an island anymore, because effectively right now they are an island. They can't you know, go by land anywhere to the north, right? So this basically makes them connected again to the rest of Asia. It's gonna be interesting, you know. Like I said, after this, if it goes well, you'll get to see what a North Korean average North Korean guy looks like, how they troll online, how they talk shit online, how they, you know, fucking, maybe you'll see tourists come over and shit too, right?
All the online presence are going to be people faking to be North Korean.
What if it turns out that North Korean people, they've already been online? They just go on VPN, they go out, they shit post all the time.
They probably do. Some of them probably do.
Some of them probably can, yeah.
Just like the random, like even like if you're playing games and shit, you're on Overwatch. It's like some North Korean guys. It's like the top guy.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
And the North Korean.
They're playing Fortnite and they're really good at it. But I have life experience at home, man.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Last man standing.
You think this is a fucking game? I was born into it. Molded by
it. Speaking of games.
All right, yes.
All right.
This is the big thing we'll go talk about.
Well, yeah. So during the time of recording, E3 is just starting. So we've had one conference out so far, and that was by EA.
Oh, yeah. The most loved game company in the world.
Yes. And you know how well they did? Based on what I've read from people's opinions, I did watch it. But the overall consensus is that their conference sucked.
Big surprise.
Yeah, so some of the biggest things they named was stuff for new characters for BattleFront 2.
Yep.
So they got General Grievous and
like
a Obi-Wan. I don't know if it's like
young or old, yeah.
But yeah, and that was like some of the bigger news that they announced, which really doesn't affect people because they did show off the new Battlefield 5, and they only showed a short trailer for it, maybe a minute or two, but That's all the time they spent on that. They spent a larger amount of time showing off a mobile game.
Oh no.
It's Command and Conquer in name.
Oh no.
But it's terribly simplistic. Like nothing like Command and Conquer.
You can't have like a command. You can't have an RTS on the phone.
Yeah, it's a 1v1 game, and it's like more controlling points and stuff. It's kind of like a grid like in Civ games.
Yeah.
Where you move your troops in there.
Oh yeah. Is it turn-based? It's not turn-based.
No, it's kind of live, but turn-based in that your troops kind of move slowly. But
okay.
But yeah, they showed off 2 people playing a full game, and that was minimum like 5 minutes. So they spent that much time doing that. Didn't even look that impressive.
Well, no shit.
And yeah, other stuff they announced weren't really big. Like, they showed off a indie looking game. What was it? I don't remember the name anymore, but that was probably one of the bigger things. And they announced / released Unravel 2.
Oh.
And yeah, it's one of those shadow drop games. So they're basically saying like, oh yeah, here's the announcement, here's the game, and then at the end they're like, oh, and it's available right now.
Whoa. Okay.
So
nice.
The game actually looked pretty good, but it's like a co-op type game, platformer. So it's not like a full priced game.
Oh, okay.
It's more like a $20 thing or something. But yeah, nothing really special.
Other than Unravel 2, they didn't announce anything big or unexpected, really.
I guess for now.
Well, that's their conference, though.
Yeah.
They're supposed to come out with all their stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think about EA? If EA was personified as a person, he'd be that fat guy that smokes a cigar and just sits in his chair and he's like, what can we do to milk more money out of these suckers? These pieces of shit. That's what EA is like to a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, if you were expecting something big, then that didn't happen. Well, just FIFA and Madden.
No, but
like EA, that stuff's coming out anyway.
Yeah, every year they come out.
Yeah, you know that. So it's
but
not.
They just like EA is a company where it's like they just milk you. Like that's their reputation among like a lot of people now. They when they release a game, it might be subpar. It might not even be like almost like a full game, right? It's just like, oh, a piece of shit game. And then if you want to have a more fun time playing it, you gotta buy our DLCs and shit, right? You gotta keep on milking. And like for even the Star Wars, the new Battlefront, a lot of people were pissed off because what was it? A lot of the stuff that they wanted to get in games would be almost impossible, right? You have to spend insane amounts of hours to try to unlock whatever. And then they're like, oh, but you can just, buy it. They're forcing you to spend money.
It was a huge backlash from that game. That's why when they first came out to announce the new stuff for Battlefront, they were kind of like, we know the game had a bit of a rocky start, but that's like way.
Like when they have to say this at their own conference, at a big conference, no less E3, where they say, yeah, I know we've had many of you maybe not as happy about some of the stuff we did back then. Like that's already like pretty bad if you have to say that out front.
But they did pseudo announce a new Star Wars game because the person running the conference, she interviewed someone working on a new Star Wars game that he was more so just sitting in the audience.
Yeah,
it's most definitely planned, but they didn't have any visuals or anything. It's just him talking, and it's just saying that in 2019 they're going to come up with a new Star Wars game, and it's going to be like you could play a Jedi. It's during the time when the Jedis are being hunted down or something.
It's going to be like what was that Jedi Knights game called again?
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic
or something like that. Is it going to be? Oh no, there was a while back. There's a Star Wars game where it's basically you're a Jedi, and it's almost like first-person shooter, but as a Jedi. I forgot what it was called.
Knights of the Old Republic was a third-person game.
Yeah.
I don't know about first-person.
I don't know, but is it going to be something like that, though?
Well, actually, I think there was an original Battlefront game before these ones that had the same name, but it was a shooter, I believe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
Fuck, no, it was... I distinctly remember you had a yellow lightsaber in that game, and you're just a made-up character. But, fuck, I can't remember that name.
I remember that game. There was another game, like an old game, that you played Darth Vader's Apprentice or something.
Yeah. But that was
that was a different one too.
Yeah, no, that was fuck. I can't remember. Force Unleashed, right? That was Force Unleashed.
Possibly, that rings a bell.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
And you're what's his face? Garen Malik or whatever. Oh my god, I can't remember these names at all.
Did you play it?
I did.
I don't remember playing this.
It's pretty good. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's kind of like they're kind of like the action game, and then in the story you're supposed to be like Darth Vader's new apprentice. I don't think it's canon at all, but this guy was really powerful as well, right? There's one scene in the game where you had to bring down a Star Destroyer just with the Force, right? And then the guy just like he's just straining, right? He looks like he's gonna take a big shit, but in the background you can see him pulling down a Star Destroyer, and you gotta like press like what it was like tap X repeatedly, right? I remember that.
I think that sounds about right.
That's what
yeah. But this one is supposed to be called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and yeah, that's all the information they gave.
And it's gonna be set in the time of the old Republic, you said, or
during the
fighting
time
the Sith, or
they're getting all the Jedi are like being hunted down and stuff. I think that's what he said.
Okay.
And
he's being hunted down. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that's actually a good game, like not like the Battlefront mess that they made. But
Battlefront, yeah, it could. I think it's not like the worst game, but it could have been way better. It didn't reach its full potential.
Visually, it's a good game.
Yeah.
I played the beta or whatever, and it was really dumbed down for a game that should be somewhat close to like a Battlefield game.
Right.
It was quite dumbed down, and a lot of I know it was a beta, but a lot of characters were like way OP compared to others. So if someone's like in a walker or whatever, you just can't kill them.
Oh, okay. That's not gonna be fun then. You gotta have some kind of balance.
Yeah,
big,
that's
like,
the thing. That's
massive multiplayer battle like field games.
Yeah, and the fun part of it that I found when I played the beta was they had certain levels where you actually get to fly a starfighter or whatever.
Yeah,
like
that's what I always dreamed about too. Like I wanted to play when I was a kid, I wanted to play a Star Wars game where you can just get a massive fucking
space battle
or your space battle, right? And then Star Destroyers and fucking shit all in the background, and they're all there for you to basically blow up if you can. Hundreds of.
That was the best part I found of it, but it's still pretty dumbed down. Whereas it's like you just have 2 types of weapons. Yeah, and that's about all the controls you need. Like you move around and shoot.
Actually, my dream. No one would ever make this game because it would. not a lot of people would buy it. But I'd want something that was like a big battle. Either like in Star Wars, set in space and that kind of setting, or just in the air, but like an Ace Combat sort of feel, but just a big air battle. But I would want it like your flight mechanics and the way that your airplane, your aircraft is, just be like super realistic, like like Lock On Modern Air Combat realistic, like Flight Simulator realistic. Whereas like you gotta like maintain like the radio, the hydraulics, you have to change the radar modes and shit. But then all in this massive Battlefront setting with hundreds of other like planes and shit flying around. And no one's ever gonna make this game because the menu, like, to learn how to play that game, like just for like the current one, the DCS World games, right, where you could buy a module of a real world plane. The fucking manual is like super thick. It's hundreds of pages of PDFs just to figure out how to start the plane and do whatever and blah blah blah. Work this. No one has the patience to play those kinds of games.
Well, one of the main problems with that too is you'd need like an actual full-on setup.
Yeah, you need a joystick. You need you can't play it on just a
keyboard and mouse or a controller. Yeah, that's the thing. Because even playing like racing games, like just normal like Forza or whatever, it's something that you'd need like a wheel and pedals to actually get
the full thing. Yeah, the full experience out of that game.
Well, otherwise, it's not really a simulator if you're just on a controller.
Yeah, it's just a normal racing game, and if you're gonna do that with a controller, then like Mario Kart's where it's at.
Yeah.
But looking into like buying a wheel, because I looked into it a long time ago, and it's like a few $100 just for like a normal one that like PlayStation one is like $200-300.
Oh, dude, man, if you're broke, you can't. You're not gonna be buying.
Which is why I can't buy one.
Like fuck. Like I really wanted, just because I like to play my plane sims a long while back. I haven't been playing anything recently, but back then, like I would go to one of my buddies, his house, and would play, and he had the whole full setup, just like joystick, and even the throttle stick for the side, and then we'd play. I remember this game. It was called Fighters Anthology, made from like Jane's Fighter Anthology, and it had every single plane in the 90s, like hundreds and hundreds, and you can set up whatever kind of battle you wanted. Fuck, that game was great. Like I dream about that game. Like there will be never a type of game that speaks to me like that game did. Everything that I could have dreamed about, it was all in there. And then later on in life, I tried to find like just like a torrent of it just to play it again. I could not. And I was, oh my god. If I could make a time machine, this would be one of the things I will go back in time to play. Aside from, you know, like investing in Apple and all that shit, I would go back and play Fighters Anthology.
Hey, if you got a time machine, you got all the time in the world to do whatever you want.
And just mess up everything, you know.
Yep.
Hot tub time machine.
I'm always afraid
to make Lugo.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you just mess up the timeline, you know. Like, you ever played Red Alert before?
Super long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. Remember the whole premise of that game was Einstein went back in time to kill Hitler, and then Red Alert is just because Hitler died, and all of a sudden the Allies and Russians were fighting each other, and you got an actor that plays Stalin in the cutscene.
That was so long ago.
That's what I'm afraid of. You know, I go back in time, play Fighters Anthology, go back in the current line. Oh my god, the world's destroyed. Nuclear devastation, just because I went back in time and I played this game a little bit more than I did.
Just so you could play.
Yeah, something game. Even worse than that happens.
Yeah.
Just because you play that game.
Well, how the fuck did this happen?
You know, the weird thing is a lot of people. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but you see or hear of these people that make these huge sim setups, like the plane setups.
Yeah.
Just do like a sim of a domestic flight from like this
New
York to LA.
Oh, dude. I experienced that as one of those people. Like I laughed at it. I just like how you're laughing at it. Cool. Like, who the fuck wants to fly a plane? Who wants to fly from like LAX to like fucking LaGuardia? Like, what? How the fuck is that fun? It was fun, man. It was fun. Like it wasn't just me. It was me and two other friends, and we're playing Flight Simulator, and we're like got into it, like, fuck yeah. They're like just landing at some podunk airport in the game. I was like, the thrill of just flying this plane with passengers and then landing again.
But did you do it in real time too? Because some people do that.
I did. For the small flight, we flew, I forget where it was, but it was like Vegas to somewhere else. Just, I don't know, just some shit town somewhere in like Arizona or something. And just flying that, like taxiing and radioing the tower. And basically, my buddy, he was older than me and my other friend, right? And it was like, and we usually hang out because it was like a family gathering. But then he would basically coach us on how to play this game, right? And he's like, yeah. And we laughed at him in the beginning. We're like, yeah. He's like, yeah, let's play Flight Simulator. And then me and my other friend like, yeah, who the fuck plays that? What is it? You know, like what's next? You know, like. Driving simulator, you know, like drive to work on a 9-to-5 job. Oh, you're such an asshole. and then he proved us wrong, because we flew it and we're like, this is exhilarating. Taxiing from the airport as a team, all the three of us, right? Taxi up, fly, just fucking put on autopilot.
Yeah, like all that sounds fine, but it's the real time thing that I wouldn't want to do.
We thought that too. I definitely thought that before. And then I played it, and then just from like Vegas to the flying from Vegas to some whatever shitty airport, we're like, this is not long enough. I want more. I want more. So then we set it up. Boeing 747 the game. We're all, man, I was practically jizzing at that point. I don't know why.
That's the big time.
Yeah, oh yeah. That is the big ticket. You know, like, and we'll fly. You know, like from fucking LAX to LaGuardia. Let's do it real time. At that point, my friend was like, this is going to take a while.
It'll take a very long time.
You put this in real time, it'll take a while. Like, oh, give me the real time. I want to stay here watching this for like 8 hours. I lost it, man. It's an addiction for me.
Well, now it's become a huge thing with like all these sim type games, like Farming Simulator.
Oh my god,
you got everything.
Even like they don't even have like this. You're playing the sport. They'll be like, Sports Team Manager Simulator.
Yeah, but that's actually one of the more fun ones because I actually played one that was East Side Hockey Manager. See? But that thing you actually made okay, but the one I was gonna talk about was Eurotruck Simulator.
Dude, I bet you if you
that
play
has a huge following.
3 of us play that game. I bet you we're gonna have a good time.
No, we would.
We would have a good time
because they actually have like what are these the cargo runs and like a bunch of them going at once.
Yeah,
convoy.
Yeah,
of them, and you actually have to like you could radio each other and like you have to go through like the pit stops or not pit stops but the weigh-ins and stuff.
If only you could,
it's like super intense.
If only you could simulate the thrill of like shifting the gears on the hill too. Because I'll tell you, I did drive truck once back then for a year, and I'll tell you, like, aside from the fact where like when you're driving it, you have this fear of like, oh, I hope I don't kill anybody, and then a cold sweat when you start driving it. It's kind of fun just driving a big rig. And if you can take away the fear of killing someone in real life and just play, like as a truck, I tell you, it's fun, man. And then, like, going up a hill, people don't realize this, but you go up a hill in a semi truck and it's a full load. It is like an action movie inside when you're shifting the gears. Because you blow a shift, then you're fucked, right? Like you could roll back, you could like kill someone rolling back, right? So then, like, yourself. Yeah, your heart, especially when you're starting out, like, if you do this for like 20 years, I bet you don't have the same fear as I do. But just starting out, going up a hill, full load, 40 tons, and it's like, and then my like senior guy that's sitting next to me, he's like, all right, don't fuck this up because you will kill someone if you fuck this up. And then just sweating as I'm then making the gear shift. And these gears, they don't go in like a car's gears, like if you're driving a manual, it's kind of easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right? On the trucks, you got like 4 gears that are like, if you go to the 4th gear, that only gets you up to like what 20, 30 kilometers an hour or something.
Well, it's like a double clutch, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, double clutch. You gotta press the clutch twice. Like one to pop the gear out, and the second to pop the gear in. And you have a switch to go to the higher gears too, right? And then you have splitter gears and all that. Just fucking lost tons of gears to go through, and you gotta shift them fast. Cause like I say, going from like gear 1 to 4 even, that's only like 20, 30 kilometers, right? So if you gotta accelerate, you gotta go like, right?
And now they have robots to do that.
Yeah, fuck. They have automatic trucks too,
yeah,
but like the manual truck was the most funnest. Once you get past that, oh my god, I'm gonna kill people if I don't do this right. You're like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something I would try if I was like the last man on Earth.
Oh, dude, everybody, if you could try just to drive a truck just for fun, I would recommend doing it.
Yeah, I just need an empty strip of road.
Yeah. No, we had for trading, because I work for this big company that has the resources to build like a training track even, right? And they basically greased the whole pavement to simulate what would happen if you spun out, right? And we got to take like, so there was pickup trucks too, but you could take like a tractor trailer without the trailer.
Yeah.
But you take one of those trucks and you spin it out. You spin it out just to see just to practice how you would recover. Man, that was like, I won't probably experience that for the rest of my life, but that was fun.
Thought that was gonna go in another direction.
What direction did you think that was gonna
just like freak out as you're spinning out?
Fuck no. Well, it's kind of scary because you're really up high, and then when you're sitting that high up, the road looks like narrow, tiny, like it looks like like a finger's width, right? And you're like, holy fuck! If I just deviate a little, I'm already out of the lane. That's what it feels like. It's not like that. Like on the ground when you're driving, you still got the same amount of, you still have room.
You have better perspective.
Yeah, but on that perspective, that far away, it seems like the road is so narrow, and you're just like, you're nervous about even just like turning the wheel too much.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So like I said, man, if Eurotruck Simulator can capture that feel, and then you don't have the thought that, oh my god, I'm gonna kill someone if I don't make this turn wide enough or whatever, right? That would be fun.
Yeah, no, I think it would be fun given you'd have to have people to play with, and you'd probably need a wheel for it to actually get immersed into it.
Yeah, well, it'll be funny if they make like the instead of just like steering wheel, they also make the gearbox for the truck too.
I'm sure people have made that,
because that's where the funnest part is. Because sometimes it just doesn't go in. And then once you hear that gear grinding sound, it's like, and then that's when you're like, oh, panic, and you're like, throw it in a gear, whatever gear, doesn't matter, just throw it in. That's exhilarating to the highest degree.
That sounds insane.
Yes. By the way, the indie game I mentioned, indie-looking game that I mentioned before, is called Sea of Solitude.
Sea of Solitude, eh?
Yeah, it graphically looks kind of cool. Otherwise, it looks like it might be more of a casual kind of game, like one of those exploration type games. Because, yeah, it's like nothing too special, nothing that you could really dive that much into from what I can tell from the trailer they showed.
So what do you do in that? What's the meat of that game? Like,
I think it's more so for the story, because from what the lady presenting it was saying, it's kind of like you're a character in this world, and it's like all your darkest kind of feelings and stuff. Like in this case, I think the main character is feeling lonely, and like that's why that's the solitude, and it kind of manifests itself into you. Like she starts turning into like a monster kind of thing.
Oh shit.
And in the world itself, you see like a bunch of these monsters, and like some are like huge monsters, so there's some jump scares and stuff. But in the game itself, I think that's just basically what it's going to be. It's more so the character development and actual exploration, and it's one of those touchy feely kind of games that maybe. But yeah,
it sounds interesting though.
Yeah, it could be interesting, and it's probably one of the better things they showed off, because other than that, big thing they also announced was Anthem. If you've heard of that, they showed it off last year too.
Yeah, you gotta tell us more about it.
It's kind of like Destiny if you've played that.
Okay.
But it's like multiplayer kind of game. You go out and you just like, it's kind of like just a normal third person kind of shooter thing where it's just against AI.
Yeah.
You kill a bunch of things, but that's about it. There's nothing too special about this. You're in a robot suit.
Okay.
There's 4 different types you could choose from. And sure, you could customize them and stuff, but other than that, it seems like a very generic kind of game. Nothing new.
You're not looking forward to this game that much then, eh?
I'd need more information, because this is supposed to be one of their biggest things that they're coming out with. And it's done by BioWare, which I like their games.
Yeah,
Sure, they screwed up their last Mass Effect game, because I didn't even play that. But in the past, like Dragon Age games, I played all of them, loved them, most of them.
Yeah.
Dragon Age was fun.
2/3 of them. But anyway, and Mass Effect games, like most of them too. But yeah, this one's also done by BioWare, but it looks very generic. It doesn't look like anything special so far.
Doesn't have Jason's seal of approval.
Wow. Well, they don't. My friend told me this. He said that there isn't any romance options in this game either.
That's a big thing.
Like, come on, that's BioWare's thing.
That's a big thing for him.
Like, what's the point of this game then?
Who am I gonna ship in this game?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all EA came out with.
I gotta say, I like how the way games are going nowadays, because they're putting a lot of effort and work into like developing not just the story, but like even like the emotion that you would feel with whatever character that you're playing, right? And then it's honestly it's almost better in a way than some, like, why watch a movie when you can play a game nowadays, right? And then I just want to say like God of War 4 or the latest God of War, right?
Yep.
And there was talk back then of people just saying like, oh, you gotta make the God of War series into a movie, right? Because and they'd say this stuff like, oh, you should make Halo into a movie, you should make God of War into a movie, you should make whatever into a movie, right? Now I'm feeling like, no, just keep it as a game, because as a game when they're playing, it had all the feel of what you'd see in a really good, gripping movie, but also like just being able to play as it, like just letting it stay as a game, and you can already see that there's so much character development, there's so much like even emotion that you would just find in a film in a game already. Like it's pretty good. Like these game productions, they're almost approaching like movie style effort and movie style effort and money. Well, not as high, but it's getting pretty high now.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at video game movies, video games that have been turned into movies, nothing has been successful.
A lot of them aren't that good. Yeah.
Not like pretty much all of them aren't good. Like the latest one was the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That one didn't. That fell flat. Before that was World of Warcraft. That fell.
Warcraft movie. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like they're not really picking games. Well, Assassin's Creed is supposedly has a good storyline to it. Has a good concept at least. But a lot of the good games that Zinzin was talking about with like these terrific storylines and character development and everything you'd want in like a movie or any series, they're seemingly all coming from Sony because they're kind of specializing in that single player experience of all these eccentric storylines, like just amazing pieces of work.
Yeah, but in video games you get to discover the plot, right? Like you learn the plot, whereas when you convert it into a movie, you have an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah,
the plot is just thrown at you, and you're supposed to be like, oh, okay, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. But and you have to follow the movie kind of like the ingredients to make a movie, right?
You can't.
You're limited by that almost.
But there is a way they could adapt it properly. I mean, they were able to do that with certain books at the very least, like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter movies. They got tons of material, and they can still make them into series of movies. They just got to try to do that with games as well. Because
they are attempting it. Like the last couple of big projects, like Assassin's Creed was huge. I mean, they had Michael Fassbender and everything attached. Well, not attached. He was in it.
That's the thing, though. Like they didn't do it right, though. What's the main thing that they're missing?
They're missing some kind of ingredient that I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't translate from video game to movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch like most of these movies because they get terrible reviews, it's not worth my time. But
rather just play the game again.
Yeah, they got such good source material to work off of. Even recent ones like Uncharted, I hear they might be making a movie out of that. Yeah, and those games were fantastic. Like all of them, they got so much material for movies there. And yeah, like I don't know if you played Last of Us. That's a terrific game that they may or may not be turning into a movie.
There's rumors about a lot of video games turning into movies, but I don't know if they're gonna actually go ahead with them. I think the whole Assassin's Creed kind of put a stop to that right now because everybody's like, we don't want ours to fail too.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, they're coming out with a new Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
And it's going to be set in Greece.
Yeah. The one that I was hoping for, or for a long time now, was one set in Japan. They could do like a ninja
it would make sense, because you got the whole ninja culture in there as well. And that would be interesting as well. They had a 2D scroller game, Assassin's Creed game that was set in Ming Dynasty China. But I don't really hear much about it. I didn't have any interest in playing that either. And I don't know like how it would fit. Would they get the assassins, like society, how they would get it to Japan.
Well, they do it all over the world already. I mean, they did like the Pirates one too.
But actually, I don't think you would even need Assassin's Creed game because they got a game that's coming out that would more or less. It looks like the Assassin's Creed version, the Japanese Assassin's Creed version, Ghost of Tsushima. They should be coming out with a.
Who's coming out with that?
Oh fuck, I forget who it was, which studio it was, but that's one of the games getting a lot of that people are talking about at this E3 as well.
I'm sure that Ubisoft for their conference, I'm sure they're gonna announce another Assassin's Creed. They seem to come out with one like every year or year and a half or so.
Yeah, no, that's what they think it's going to be in Greece.
It's going to be Greece.
A Greek Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I guess they'll show off more of it then. But other than that, like the ones we have today they're not happening yet at time of recording, but Microsoft and Bethesda. Big Bethesda. One from them. Well, Microsoft has so much up their sleeve potentially, but Bethesda, they already know the big thing coming out for them is Fallout 73.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you've heard about, son, but next Fallout game, but it's going to be a bit different from all the previous ones because all the previous ones, kind of first-person shooter, or at least the first or last couple at least. But this one, it seems like they might be implementing some online aspect to it. They may or may not be implementing some sort of like somewhat of a, I think I get a survival type feel out of it, because the concept behind this one is it's based on Vault 73, and a lot of vaults, they have their own independent missions, like what they're made for. And for 73, from what I read, is that they're supposed to be a quote unquote rebuilding kind of vault. So after all the nukes and stuff are dropped, after it's a safe amount of time, like I think it was 20 years or something after, they come out and they rebuild. And that's the idea behind this. So you might get more ghouls and stuff in this, I guess.
Oh. Well, basically you gotta defend your little settlement here.
Yeah, so that might be what it is. And yeah, Microsoft, I don't know exactly what they're coming out with. There's probably not going to be new hardware because Sony's not coming out with new hardware.
I think there were some rumors of Halo 5.
Yes, I've heard that rumor, and I don't know what else they might come out with.
You getting sick of Master Chief yet?
I actually never really played one because I never owned an Xbox.
It was pretty good. I'll tell you, Halo, what they did really well was, I want to say their soundtrack, the music that they used in all of their, like, in all the scenes, the cut scenes, and just like during gameplay itself. I want to say the Halo soundtrack is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And that really puts you into the mood of it, right? And then also, like, I don't know, it's like the small things I really like that Halo did really well. And you can criticize the game as well. There's tons of criticism about the game. There's a lot of shit I don't like, but what they did well is, like, in the background you'll see like a massive ship or something, right? And then I like that sort of feel, whereas, like, it puts you right in the middle of it, and you can see like what basically, like, you can see like the battlefield, and you can basically see what's going on. Like, alien invasion, you can see the mothership right there, off in the distance. You can see it moving. Yeah. You can see it. You can feel like the scene is alive for you. And that's why and it's a grand scene too. It's not like focused in a small, your play area. But if you look into the distance, you see what's, like what it looks like in the background. And that's like what I like about how Halo did it. And a lot of other games did it too. Like in the Call of Duty game, what was it? It was basically Call of Duty 5 or something. World at War. They went back to World War II, right, into the World War II setting. There's one mission. It's during the final. Story of the campaign. For if you're the Russian soldier and you're like, you're fighting against Germany, right? And that final mission where you're storming the Reichstag and you see it in the background, just Berlin's burning all around you, and you're like fighting your way all the way up to the steps of the Reichstag, and then going inside of it, but just fighting your way up to the Reichstag. That was a great level. Like one of the top first-person shooter for me, one of the top 5 levels top 5 maps, I guess, that you could play as single player, and that's just only single player.
Yeah, no, Halo did a lot of good things right, because that was one of the faces of like the Xbox.
Yeah,
and they had so many sequels and everything. Every time you hear good things, or at least like it's huge in the online community. And yeah, it was like when you were talking about the music, it has very iconic music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've recently seen like videos of guys doing that kind of opera-y thing. And one of them was like a ton of guys just in a school bathroom or something, and they're all just doing that. And then there's a video of like one guy participating in it and showing it. And then there's another video of like a group of girls or something just outside of it. They're like, what the hell? And then they hear it. And then they're all just laughing outside and everything. So yeah, huge role in society these days that games play.
All right. Just wanted to switch gears a little bit, go back to something that the political side of the world. You guys, Hassan, what do you think about the G7 shenanigans these days?
Well,
what's going on?
I don't know. Trump is always true to his form, and been bashing Trudeau these days apparently at the G7 summit.
Well, you know what? He's probably not alone. There's quite a bit of people even in Canada that bash Trudeau about some of his stuff, some of his antics. But I mean, like, it's not just. I don't think it was just Trudeau. I think like possibly every other country except maybe Japan and Great Britain in the G7, they had some choice words for Trump and his entire the American side over there too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks obvious even from the pictures and stuff I saw that.
Yeah, this is
Trump's
that famous picture going
yeah.
around where it's like Trump's sitting there
And everybody
and trolling
else
people, and then Angela Merkel's basically she looks. I don't know if she looks pissed or not, but both palms are on the table. You know, like kind of like a look at here, you piece of shit. Look at here, asshole. And Trump's just like the fucking it's like, what's your problem, basically? And it's basically the G7 leaders, more or less, just looking like they're not very happy.
It kind of looked like a mom disciplining her son.
Yeah, look at here, you little shit.
That's what I was gonna say. She looks like a school principal calling in the school bully for the last time.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny. If you look at John Bolton, that's the guy with the fucking Pringles mustache. He looks like he's about. He looks like he's
the
just
Pringles
farting.
mustache?
Yeah, he's letting out a small fart right now. He's just like that's what his face looks like. And everybody else just looks unimpressed. This is like. But yeah, the funny thing about this was before going into this, the entire, I guess, stance of the Americans were like, yeah, we're gonna put trade tariffs on all of you motherfuckers. We're gonna put trade tariffs on there. And then going over there, I think Trump, he started saying, I think, you know what? You guys want free trade? Let's just have free trade for everything, free trade all around and shit, right? Just going back and forth. And then, you know, like you can tell they're angry at each other. The way that you can tell that leaders of a country are angry at each other is when they say something like, we're not going to put out a joint statement. That's if you're a political pundit, that's when you go like, oh shit. That's the oh shit moment. That's when you know normal people, when someone's pissed or something, they just burn the other guy.
Yeah.
As a country, the subtle things like, we're not going to talk about this. We're not going to put out a joint statement, and then people are like, oh my god.
Well, it basically implies that we do not agree with.
Exactly. It's a diplomatic way of saying like, fuck you. I think you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like in hearings and stuff. It's like the lawyers, they talk to each other, but they refer to each other as like, my friend here is like...
Yeah, when they start saying those things like, my buddy, my friend over here, that they have a problem with the other guy. And it's funny because like Trump was calling everybody by their first names. It's like Justin and Angela.
Are we on a first name basis here?
Yeah, well, I don't like your fucking face, Justin. Basically, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, shut up, Donald.
Well, that's pretty much what it came to. It looks like. Yeah.
I don't know. They don't know.
And
they don't know how to deal with them, honestly.
No, but Trump with his regular, his political platform, which is Twitter. Then he went on Twitter and was calling Trudeau weak and meek, and
he would call weak. Yeah, he's just like how he called when he was running for president, all the other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
He'd come out. He called them weak and shit, fucking like Jeb Bush, low energy and stuff like that. In my opinion, he was going easy on Trudeau. There's so many other things you can make fun of him.
No, it's not whether like you can have arguments. I mean, you're supposed to have discussion, but the way he goes about it, Trump, is just, I still can't get over the fact that it's like, like a middle school bully kind of.
Well, this is what's expected in the age of Trump now. This is how politics plays out.
He's so stubborn and immature. So.
He's this flame, Twitter flame war. That's what the.
I mean, he says he has the best words, but
I have the best words.
Yeah.
I have the best words. All the words that you're thinking about right now, I have the best of that. But that's par for the course. Ever since he got elected, this is to be expected.
I know it's to be expected, but you'd think he'd like hire someone who can teach him.
That's not his style, man. He's approaching this like The Apprentice. He's getting the views from this. People talk about him every day because he does shit like this.
Yeah, it's pretty bad because he still gets his way a lot of the times, which is quite crappy.
Dude, you have to imagine that if you were, let's say, one of those hardcore supporters, you're liking all of this. Like, you probably hated Angela Merkel and people like Trudeau back then, like before Trump. You're probably that crowded. if you were to say his
stuff is
his solid fan base, his supporting base, you love exactly what he's doing right now. I bet you they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, we needed some guy to say this shit to these people, you know. Like, you needed some guy to say fucking weak Justin, or like these people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know, like, I'm gonna shit on all of you in this meeting. I want to get all of you pissed off at me. Yeah, they like that. They like this stuff. This is half of America.
Yeah, but still, as a country or even as a person, if you're on one side and everybody else is on the other side of the table, that should ring some bells, right?
Oh, it definitely can. Except when you're America, because the power disparity is so much. It's so big that you could do it. Every other president before him, they had the kind of the power to do this as well. They could have told everybody to go fuck themselves, and then most of them wouldn't be able to do anything about it. It's just that the previous presidents didn't do that because it's not a good idea. But that's one. He doesn't care. He knows he can do it.
Well, that's because he's like, all those people have that kind of pompousness to them.
Yeah.
They think that what he's doing is like the best course of action for America. It's like, yeah, we're like, they're thinking that they are the top of the top.
Yeah.
That they're the best country and that they should be treated as such.
Yeah, and it's worse too if you're coming from this billionaire class. You have grown up thinking that you are the best. That you are above a lot of people already, right? And then when you go and you have to represent everybody, that's how you're gonna represent. You know, like it's not really a good thing if you're going in there thinking that you're better than these other places. When, you know, country to country, you should be approaching it as more or less like diplomatic equals. But that's just how it is. And also, like, I don't get why people think businessmen or entrepreneurs would be good at this shit. You know? Like, people were saying, like, oh, yeah, fucking Jeff Bezos should be president. I don't think he should. I don't think any of these people should be.
Well, yeah, running a company is a lot different than running a country.
Yeah, like, first of all, you can't fire your citizens if they're not performing well, right? Like, you could do that in a company where, like, yeah, fucking this guy's being, you know, he's not doing well. He's lazy. He's not doing his numbers. He's not being productive. Fire him. You can't do that if you're a country. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Unless you're like, hey, this guy, he's not productive. He's not pulling his weight. Let's fucking just fire. Let's kill him then. Let's make him not a non-citizen now. You can't do that, right? So it's totally different right off the bat.
Yeah,